What's up guys, Sam Adams here and welcome to On the Topic Of, which is a series every single Friday here on the YouTube channel where I talk about something that's been going on in the video game news spotlight in the past week or so, get my thoughts and opinions on it, keep you guys informed as to what's going on, and I just get to let my inner gamer talk for a minute or two. And this week we are talking about the PlayStation Plus edition of Driveclub finally coming out on the PlayStation Store, which is a huge leap forward from where it was last October, and I guess we'll start there. If you don't know what's going on with Driveclub, or you've never heard of the game in general, Driveclub was supposed to come out last October on the PlayStation 4 in 3 different forms. You had the physical copy, which is still available worldwide if you want to pick that up. You had the digital copy, which is still available on the PlayStation Store, and you had the PlayStation Plus copy, which just came out today. The full version of the physical game, was just, $60, you get to play Driveclub, and there were a few microtransactions here and there, but nothing to write home about. The digital version was the digital version of the physical version, and then PlayStation Plus was the one that everyone was looking forward to because it was a free taste of the game, kind of somewhere in between a demo and the full title. There was more content than a demo, but there wasn't quite as much content as the full version of the game, so that a player could actually get a decent taste of the game before they went ahead and dished out the full $60 to purchase the game. So it launched terribly. It was probably the worst game launch except for Arkham Knight that I have in recent memory. The servers went down almost immediately. No one was able to play online, no one could download updates. There were a lot of problems with the editions of the game all the way across the board. And then the PlayStation Plus version of the game was nowhere to be found, and it was delayed indefinitely. I actually didn't even think it was going to happen, to be quite honest with you. I'm surprised that the game actually came out, but lo and behold, here it is the following July, and there is a lot of stuff locked behind a $25 paywall, but that is completely understandable. Just to show you guys how much is actually locked behind that wall, take a look. So what you guys are looking at here is the Driveclub main menu, and there are a lot of things to do except for the fact that not all of them are able to be done. Everything that you see blocked off by a blue basket is actually not playable until you purchase the full version of the game, but there still is a lot of content underneath this start line tab, which is basically the limits of the PlayStation Plus edition. Of course, there's also the race mode, which you can actually do single events in, and you can access everything in the India section of the game, which is only about a sixth of the entire game. That is still not a lot of access, but just enough for the PlayStation Plus edition, in my personal opinion. So as you can see, the majority of the game is still locked behind that $25, and that is totally okay. I understand why. Evolution Studios knows that it messed up the release of Driveclub, and it pretty much just killed the IP in general, because no one's going to want to buy another Driveclub game after the experience that PlayStation fans have had with this entry into the franchise. It's just not going to happen. But there still has to be money made in order for future development to continue, and I think that $25 is pretty much a good sweet spot as far as, getting to play the full version of the game goes, because there is a lot of content that you're getting for that $25. I'm reading right here, you've got 40 plus cars, 65 tracks in the full game unlocked, and of course all of the modes are unlocked in the PlayStation Plus edition of the game, which I think was a pretty good move to show fans of the PlayStation Plus edition that they still mattered, that they still cared about the PlayStation Plus edition of the game, and they're trying to make up for it that way. So $25 for the entire game I think is a pretty good price, but that being said, I feel like gamers should have been compensated a little bit more for waiting this long for the PlayStation Plus edition of the game, and I think that the game has suffered enough just because of the kind of publicity that has been generated from all of this negative talk over the past 9 months. That being said, I quote a Destructoid article that I was reading earlier today. I didn't write down the author, but you can go look it up, or I will link it down below. But the quote says, "I never had much interest in the game, but after all this build-up, I'll have to try it." I think that's where Evolution Studios is going to hook a lot of people, because if you actually play the PlayStation Plus edition of Driveclub, it's a really decent game. I like the challenges that you can kind of compete in global leaderboards to try and test your skills with drifting, with speed, with handling. It's a really cool way to enjoy the game, and I was finding myself absolutely engulfed with racing, and I normally don't get that way. Normally I don't really care about racing games. I can play Forza for probably about 30 minutes before I get bored with the repetitiveness of it, but there's something about Driveclub that I feel like I'm actually going to play this more than I normally would a racing game, and that's what I hope a lot of people find whenever they pick up the Driveclub PlayStation Plus edition, that there's actually a good game behind it, and that there's actually a lot of content and perhaps a future awesome franchise for the PlayStation Nation to enjoy. With all of this being said, there's still a lot of work to be done on the public relations side of things. Obviously, the community is still slightly upset that the PlayStation Plus edition of the game took this long, and that the entire game as a whole has been kind of a failure as far as the launch goes, as far as the content goes, and people just haven't enjoyed it to the extent that they were hoping that people would. And I think that over the course of the next couple of months, if they continue to support the game, if they continue to roll out some DLC for it, and continuously support it and love on the audience and love on the public relations kind of stuff, that they might actually be able to salvage this IP, and I think Driveclub 2 might be a huge hit and might even be able to compete with Forza. So there you guys have it. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of On the Topic Of. If you did, drop me a like down below and comment what you think about Driveclub. Is it a good game? Have you played the PlayStation Plus edition? If you haven't, I recommend going and giving it a shot. I mean, why not? It's free and you get a good amount of content for that free price. And of course, if you are new to my YouTube channel, you've never seen any of my other content, head over there and check out some of the other videos that I've made. I upload new stuff like 4 or 5 days a week, so there's always something new for you to watch whenever you drop by here to watch some stuff on the channel. And as always, I want to thank each and every one of you guys personally for watching this particular video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm gonna go race some stuff.